Thank you very much. Good afternoon. This whole COVID thing is making us to be antisocial. So, apologies. My sisters who are here, who have been with us since we came 2 days ago. My sister, Madame Sitole, the chairperson of the governance and CAC portfolio. My other sister, Ms. Kim Makatini, the deputy city manager. Reginald McKeesey, the acting head of human capital. My dear sister, who has inspired us today, Ms. Gugu Jilo. My other sister also, who just, you're just amazing. But I would have liked you to have brought all your designs for us to wear it for the gala tonight. It's a pity. So maybe if it's not too late, you can have a little bit of expose where we are going to have the gala dinner tonight with your permission, from the city authorities. It would be really wonderful to see, your creativity. And my dear brother who was the MC, and my dear sister who was the MC, and, the social worker who was really fantastic, would like to get your paper so that we can inform also our policies. My colleagues, of course, who are here from the various agencies. I see the representative of FAO, representative of UN Women, representative of IOM, the representative of UNIDO, the representative of UNDP, and UNICEF, the representative of UNICEF, and many others who are here. As you know, we are 17 entities in South Africa. And we are just one solid family working as one entity because we have understood from the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and also analyzing our work over the many years that human beings are just human beings. And we cannot dissect them into their different aspects. When one aspect of their being, a human being is not met, then we have not achieved, the expected results. So be it in education that UNICEF handles and UNESCO handles, FAO, agriculture and production, nutrition, health, and all these things need to be, delivered at the same time. They are just pieces of the same puzzle. And in order for the puzzle to be resolved, we need to really deliver as one. And that's what we are carrying also, as you know, in the government. And we're very, very proud of the eThekwini municipality and actually the province of KZN. We're delivering as one. And in a very coordinated, collaborative manner, all departments, across departments, working for one is being demonstrated, and congratulations. I am actually extremely humbled today to be addressing you at this momentous occasion. This workshop is truly an important platform for us to reflect, on the ongoing conversations with the incredible, resilient, brilliant, and visionary people with disability. And, this discussion actually is to chart the new pathways to ensure that we create an inclusive and accessible environment for all people, but in particular, people living with disabilities. The discussion on disability inclusion is crucial because, especially the discussions that we're having today with you, is very crucial because past policies and strategies aim to securing the rights of persons living with disabilities and upholding the values and principles of the 2030 Agenda to leave no one behind has not been as effective as we would have liked it to be. Too often, as leaders, we make policy decisions about people living with disabilities without their presence and input. Today's discussion, under the leadership and active participation of the community of people living with disabilities in this workshop, is therefore the right thing to do. Congratulations, eThekwini. Like our brother Musa said, the UNESCO City of Literature for this initiative. And thanks for making this workshop to be led by those that are being affected and giving us the opportunity also to capture their journey, to live that journey with them, to feel that journey, and to translate that journey in terms of actionable policies and programs. So I also salute and recognize the very able people living with disabilities present here today for enlightening us, educating us, and helping us address the inequity, inequality, discrimination, and marginalization challenges we all endeavor to tackle to build the South Africa we want. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences and for making us understand that each step of our way, we have to really think that there are those that we need to carry along with us and that they have to inform us on how to work together, on how to walk the journey together. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, as a society, we have made great strides in developing policies geared towards improving the quality of life of persons with disability. There are some strides, there are some efforts, yet in reality, many of the 5 million people living with disability still live on the margins of society with little access to opportunities. And this has been testified again and again by the speakers that took the platform. Madiba, our father, the father of Africa, tells us that the true nature of society is revealed in how it treats its children. I want to borrow from that and say that the true nature of society is revealed in how it treats its community of people living with disabilities, marginalized segments of the society like women and youth. The fact that people living with disabilities are still marginalized is a testament to how we truly are as a society. And as we deepen our reflections and resolve to take concrete actions to remedy this unsustainable state of marginalization and inequality, we have to really take into cognizance 3 areas that I have captured. And these areas are also captured in the study that was presented to you by the UN. We need to address, or we need to improve accessibility. Access to education, access to transport, access to health, and access in general to all social services. And the speaker before me, who works in the Secretary General's office, has said that we need to make sure that, everything that we do, the needs of people with disability is mainstreamed. And this could be done if we have got an accountability framework that they themselves would look at and make sure that the policies, the strategies, the plan of actions speak to their needs. We need to create opportunities for employment, create the conducive environment in the workplace. And this has been something that we've been hearing from you, Gugu. And finally, we have to restore dignity to all. There is no dignity unless we provide dignity to all. It's not an individual, but it's a common shared one. Because we are part of a community, we are part of a society. And therefore, restoring dignity is very critical and very important. My colleague from the Secretary General's office spoke on the disability inclusion strategy launched by the Secretary General in 2019. This strategy is instrumental in raising the UN standards and performance to meet the needs of disabled persons or people living with disability. It provides a foundation for sustainable and transformative progress on disability inclusion across the United Nations. Through this strategy, the United Nations system reaffirms that the full and complete realization of the human rights of all persons living with disabilities is an alienable, integral, and indivisible part of all human rights and fundamental freedoms. In order for us to make significant gains in creating an inclusive and dignified society, we must effect a paradigm shift. And this is what I heard today, a true paradigm shift. And to quote my late sister, Professor Elinwe Mikize, who left us just recently, who was the Deputy Minister in the Presidency, responsible for women, youth, and people living with disabilities, I quote, "Persons living with disabilities, women and youth are not looking for a handout, but recognition for their skills, their talents, and most importantly, an opportunity to contribute to the growth of the economy and to attain economic independence." And all these talents, skills, brilliance, intelligence, vision, and smart vision have all been demonstrated today. We just need to recognize that. And we will benefit more from these talents by harnessing, the potentials of people living with disability. We owe a great deal to people living with disabilities. We owe it to them to listen and engage with careful interest when shaping our future commitments and action to ensure that everyone can live full lives. We owe it to people living with disabilities to not waste any more time and ensure that we adjust our policies and strategies in light of the deliberations of the discussions of today and take urgent action. Earlier, my colleague from OHCHR, the Human Rights Commission, presented on the findings of the United Nations report on the impacts of COVID-19 on people living with disabilities. I want to commit the United Nations development system in general to work with the city of Etiquette and the community of people living with disabilities to implement the recommendations highlighted in this report. This will form an integral part of the work we are doing in the city and the province under the district development model and KwaZulu-Natal Emergency Response Plan. And I'm so glad that my sisters are here, and we will work hard to make sure that these are taken into consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, I wish to quote the Secretary General of the United Nations, quote, unquote, quote, beginning of the quote, "We must ensure that the aspirations and rights of persons living with disabilities are included and accounted for in an inclusive, accessible, and sustainable post-COVID-19 world." This vision will only be achieved through the leadership and active consultations with persons living with disabilities and their representative organizations, end of quote. Indeed, the vision of a society that is inclusive and accessible for all people living with disabilities is very clear. The responsibility of achieving this vision does not just rest with people living with disabilities, it rests with all of us. And I know Eneti will make it to happen. And I thank you.